driver off the deck for Corey Connors.
Here's driver off the deck for Victor Hovland.
So the driver off the deck. I know you would try this, right?
Oh my, what a shot.
Just to be able to hit it off the deck and get that thing down and fly it and running.
You have to put your foot on the gas. You pull out the driver off the deck and you put it on the green all the way up the hill.
Welcome back to another episode of Off the Deck. Quick shout out to Idika Golf, our title sponsor. I'm wearing the Sebastian hoodie today. Super lightweight, really comfortable. Honestly, it's easy to throw on whether you're heading to the course or out to dinner. If you want one, head to idika.golf. Make sure you use promo code OTD25 for 25% off your order. That promo code is no joke. Again, that's OTD25 for 25% off your order. And their spring line just dropped, so go check them out. We really appreciate Idika being part of the show. And we are thrilled to welcome Mr. Tyler Johnson of Charlie Golf to Off the Deck. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to come on the show. For the listeners, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Tyler Johnson. I started Charlie Golf about 2.5 years ago. It's a kids golf brand, so golf bags for 2 to 5 year olds, and then we also do have a junior line as well for the 5 to 8 year olds, so that next size up. So focus strictly on kids golf bags and kids golf clubs.
So I love, y'all have beautifully explained kind of the story about how this came to be, especially all the family connections with Grandpa Birdie, and then everything with your kids. But tell me, if you can, give a synopsis of what that says on the site, or even a more extended version of why you decided to start this kid golf bag brand.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes all the way back. I mean, I would say when I was 2-3 years old or so, my dad had a club for me. He cut down an old adult club, put a grip on it. You know, it was my club. He still has it in his basement now. So, you know, it's sort of one of those full circle things. When I had my kid, I wanted to get him out to the golf course. Our daughter was just born at the time. So it was one of those things where, okay, what can I do with Charlie to get him outside of the house? You know, mom's with the new baby. So I just took him out to the driving range, and he had his old cut down adult clubs that my dad cut down for him. He had a couple clubs, a blue grip on the one putter or on the driver, that we just carried around. And it was that one day when I was, went out to the driving range and, the middle of Iowa summer, I was hauling these 2 clubs around, his couple golf balls and whatever. I didn't have a bag for him at the time. So right after that, there was one of those aha moments where I'm like, he needs a golf bag, right? So I went online and I started looking for one. And for a 3-year-old at the time, I was thinking, okay, what's the easiest, most simplest thing that we can do for, a kid, a toddler? I know how he is with bags. He can't put on a backpack, a 2-strap backpack by himself. We don't need to make this complicated.
Right.
And when I was searching for it, I was like, I cannot find literally the simplest bag. So I, thought of the wax canvas leather style bags, the Sunday style carry bags, and make it miniature, I guess, for a kid to carry around. And that was one of the biggest things, I want my kid to be able to carry around his own bag. So I don't necessarily have to, but I wanted him to have ownership of the bag. So, being able to lift it up, put it down. It's very easy for him to access it when it's just on the ground. I mean, he's 3-4 feet tall or whatever. So it's very easy for them to manage that bag.
So, and how many iterations did you go through before you had what we see now for purchase? Because the golf bag kind of exists already. It's pretty much been perfected, but not for a 2 or 3 year old. So what was that process like?
Yeah. So we went through, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 samples, went through multiple vendors as well, or partners, to try to figure out how to manufacture them. I would say we were actually pretty close on the first go around with it. I got the one bag back and I'm like, wow, this is really close. But the strap was probably the biggest challenge, because it came with when it sent back, the size of the bag was good. The quality was really good. But the strap, when my son put it on, and he was, at that time, he was the perfect model. Like, he was my test subject with it. Like, this bag is for him. So when he went to go put it on, the strap was so big and rigid that it just like fell forward or fell backward. So we spent some time really working on the strap to make sure it's extremely flexible and very thin as well, because the shoulder on a 3.5-year-old, you only have so much room to work with. So it has to be able to fit on that shoulder. So the strap was honestly one of the biggest things that we went back and forth on to make sure we got that nailed down. So it was a few iterations. I still have one of the sample bags hanging up here from a manufacturer, and I just hold on to it because it's like, it just doesn't even compare to what we actually ended up going with, and like what everybody knows Charlie Golf as today. You can just definitely tell the different quality. It looks cheap. So I still hold it. I still have it on display because, it's sort of fun to look back at those early bags to sort of see where it started and then sort of where it went to.
Did he ever get tired of being the test subject?
No, I don't think,
Okay.
because he loved he thought the golf bag was so cool and like it was
Okay.
his own. So like he took ownership of it. Like he loved that. So he never thought anything of it. I know we took that one prototype that we had with the big strap out just to, take it out to the golf course. It didn't faze him one bit. Like, he still loved the bag. He still carried it like by the handle. So I knew I was onto something at that point when sort of my kid was that, like, he loved the golf bag that much that I'm like, well, maybe there's other parents in my situation that, just want something easy for their kids. And sure enough, it seems like that's the case.
So I love that, and right before we started recording, I mentioned I love that you're recording from your warehouse. So this is now full time for you, correct?
Yeah, I've been full-time Charlie Golf since January 2025. So we launched in November 2023. We had 150 golf bags that we had for launch and sold those out. And it was 28 minutes. I had the timer going with it and all that stuff. So we sold them out right away in that November 2023. And we did drops after that. So we had probably 8 or 9 drops for the next 6 months where we would sell out of hundreds of bags at a time. I'm talking 300, 400. I think we got all the way up to 700 at one point. And we kept taking the revenue that we got and ordered as many bags as possible for that next drop. And we kept doing that until we sort of met the demand of a wait list that we created online. So that's how it started, like in November 2023. And then all of that in 2024, I was doing this on the side. And during those drops, I knew when the bags were coming in, so I could schedule them on a Friday drop. And then I could get my mom and my dad and my aunt would come up at times. But I would be able to get help to come up on that Saturday to help me, or Sunday to get everything packed, and then out the door on Monday, go back to my full-time job, and then sort of do that over and over and over again. And then we got to like May of 2024 and we had, one of our biggest months of all time. Still to this day, that May of 2024 was one of our biggest months because we introduced clubs and we had a drop of bags as well during that month. So at that point, I knew that, okay, I think I'm on to something. I think I can do this full time. So May of 2024 is when it went into my head, like, I'm pretty sure I can do this full time. I didn't let my employer know until November of 2024 that I was going to leave. And then January 2025 is when I went full time with Charlie Golf.
So what was the full-time gig before you went full-time with Charlie Golf? Anything remotely close to textiles and bags, or?
Nothing at all. I was in sales, marketing. There was an entrepreneurship type feel to the role that I had. I had a lot of ownership of this one part of the company that they were trying to launch a new subdivision. So for the last few years with the company, I was trying to get this product off the ground. It was a software product that complemented the main product at the company that I worked for. But it was, I had a feel of marketing. I had a feel of SEO, sort of had that feel of the entrepreneurship. Like I had ownership of that product. So yeah, that's what I did before. Nothing related to golf bag, nothing in the golf industry, anything like that. Just completely, yeah, not even close.
That's fascinating. So, and we had originally, we've had to reschedule this a couple times, and I'm glad we had to reschedule it because one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, when you still talk about it, was your Masters, your Georgia drop. So I guess it's not a Masters drop. We got to be careful there. We'll get a cease and desist, and that
Right.
we know, I guess they're listening.
Yeah.
But how quickly did those sell out? And for the listeners, you did a girls and a boys. What did those designs look like? And then how quickly did they sell out?
Yeah, so we decided to do a Georgia drop. And this is one of the first times we've done like a limited edition bag. And what we did was we call it the green peach and the pink azalea. So the pink azalea had a checkerboard front pattern to the pocket, and then azaleas embroidered randomly on the body of the bag. And then the green was had a checkerboard green front pocket to it, and then peaches embroidered, randomly on the body of the bag as well. We went through that. This was a great learning experience for me because I haven't really done a limited drop like this in really, I don't think since I started, Charlie Golf. And I've always had these ideas of potentially doing limited style bags and like for specific events, right? So we did that. We got a family photographer involved that I found out, later on. Like she's been doing our family pictures for 5-6 years or whatever. So she actually had a lot of experience with brand stuff. And we went up there to do a photo shoot with all the kids in their caddy uniforms and all that stuff. And it was just fun to see that like come together. And the photos turned out great. And yeah, we created a lot of buzz sort of beforehand of actually dropping those. And then the day that we dropped them, the pink bags sold out, and we only had 16 of the pink bags and 16 of the green ones. So, we didn't have very many of them, but the pink ones sold out in like a minute. And then the green ones sold out in about 7 or 8 minutes.
That's nuts. So what lesson did you learn?
Well, I learned how to go through it takes a lot of planning to do, like those drops. So just the whole planning process takes time. And I'm one of the guys that like, I don't plan very well. I sort of am more of the spur of the moment. Like if something comes to my head, I might act on it. But the whole planning process of, creating the bags, getting the photo shoot ready to go, like what's going to be involved in the photo shoot, getting the pictures back, getting them to social media, creating the wait list, launching them, getting them out the door. So like there's a whole process behind it that just doesn't happen overnight. Like there is, like you have to think about some of these things. So it was good to do. And then like we're going to try to do one here in the next couple months for US Open, July 4th, America 250 themed bags.
That's really cool. Yeah, those were really, really cool bags. I think they're still, you might be able to see the images on your website, but because I encourage people to go look at those because they were really cute, really fun. Unfortunately, my daughter has outgrown them, or I would have tried to snag one for her. But yeah, just the stylization of them, the peaches, it was very, very well done. And to your point, the photo shoot, y'all crushed it. I mean, the kids in the caddy uniforms looked great. Like it was all very endearing, cute, fun. I think a true testament.
One of my favorite videos that I love is like I sort of did a behind the scenes one, and it's just you can't even picture. We got a 5.5-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and we're in this photo shoot room and trying to keep them somewhat occupied while doing some of these shoots, right. And like while Charlie was getting his picture taken with the bag, what's Olivia doing, and what's the 1-year-old doing? So like the behind the scenes thing is like I love looking at that video because seeing like them actually what it looked like and then how the pictures turned out is I love seeing that stuff, and I love the behind the scenes. I think our audience does too, is sort of how we go about doing things, and people can definitely relate to that, especially if they have young kids.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because that's a 3-ring circus of especially the ages you mentioned, trying to keep them corralled, and then also trying to keep their attention for a photo shoot. That's a heavy lift.
So I remember we were doing the photo shoot of just the bags at the time. The kids had their uniforms on. We were getting sort of them ready to go. They went outside. It was like a decent day. and they went outside and they come back and they had mud, like, sort of on one of the knees and whatever else. So it's like, okay, we can keep you inside for the rest of the time now.
Right. So it started out with bags. When did you decide to take the plunge into doing the clubs?
So the clubs, I always, like, when I started Charlie Golf and when I did the bags, it was one of those things like, I want to have clubs at some point. And I actually started the process of the clubs about the same time that I started the process of the bags as well. It's just the clubs took so much longer. There's just a lot more that goes into like the manufacturing of the club, the style of the club, the weights of the club. There's just a lot more that goes into it. But I wanted to have clubs for my kid because I saw him use the adult cut down clubs that my dad made for him, and he had a hard time swinging them. So, I mean, they're steel shafts, old steel heads, like they're just too big for him, too heavy. So I knew that I really wanted to have clubs at some point that, a 3.5-year-old to 5-year-old could swing like relatively easily. So we went into that process, starting probably about October of 2023, started going down the rabbit hole trying to figure that out. And then I got the first prototypes in about March of 2024. And I remember taking them out to the golf course with my kid, and he was just so excited about them and like being able to swing them. And I'll never forget either, the first time we had the one prototype set that we had, he had those 7-iron and he's walking with it and he drags it right across like a gravel cart path area. And it's just like, well, these things better be durable. And sure enough, he's the same set that we had, that same first prototype set is the set that he's still using to this day. So they've held up obviously really, really well. But going down to when we launched them, so March of 2024 is when I got that prototype in. And probably one of the biggest risks that I've taken with the business so far was actually doing a pre-order for those clubs, because I started a pre-order in March of 2024, and that was to like help fund the purchase of the clubs that I was bringing in, because we've been bootstrapped the entire time. It's fully self-funded. So like that was a big purchase for us at that time in that early stage of the business. And it's just crazy how many people supported us and would wait 6 to 8 weeks to get these clubs in their hands. So that's, when we did the pre-order, and then we finally got them in May of 2024, and got them out the door and then released them to the rest of the wait list. I only did a pre-order of about like 300 of those clubs. And once we hit that 300 mark, I called it good, because I didn't want to have that feeling of, okay, what if we did 500 or 600 or however many? And this is the first time that we're bringing these clubs in. I know what the prototype looks like, but there's also this risk of, okay, what if we get it and something is wrong with what we receive? So I didn't like that feeling. It worked out very, very well for us. It helped us literally take our brand from one level to a wholly different level there.
So what percentage of your business now is clubs versus bags?
I mean, it's pretty split. I would say 65% have bag and clubs. And then, we do have some that just buy clubs only. And then we do have some that buy just bag only. Decent amount of just bag only too.
So, and I love that there's, I guess what's the saying that, the need or necessity is what causes innovation or whatever. And like you experiencing this with your son is what led you now to be in a warehouse with a bunch of toddler and junior golf bags, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
When you can personalize the bags on your website. So is there a lot of personalization, or the majority of the purchases that you receive, someone just wants one right off the rack and that's being shipped out? What does that typically look like?
Yeah, about 70% of our bags are personalized with a name.
Okay.
So, and we do that.
Are you doing all that embroidery?
We do all the personalization of the bags here. So we have two, high-end industrial embroidery machines that we run the personalizations on. So the cool thing about it is like, I do my very best to get all orders out the next day. It's probably too high of a standard, and I probably stress myself out about it at times. But like the cool thing is that we control that personalization process of like the name on the bag. That we can do it. It doesn't take that long to do. But you have to have the machine, and you have to have a little knowledge of how to do it. I've just learned it all through YouTube and training videos and whatever. And I do simple stuff. A lot of the time I'm doing simple stuff. It's just text. We're starting to get into more logo work as well, but yeah, we typically, if we get an order today, I do my very best. A lot of times we get it out the next day, even with the personalization. I know some people might have deadlines, birthdays, whatever. So we do our best to get them out as fast as possible.
Well, and you had some pretty impressive embroidery. If there's two cases I'm thinking about, the Spieth family. Was that a bit of a pinch me moment? Did you know that was coming in, or how did you find out about that?
Well, it's decent, relatively long story, but it goes back to October of 2024. And I actually tweeted about this. I think I put it on my LinkedIn or tweeted it or did something with it. That I remember the day vividly. It was a Friday at around 5 o'clock, 5:30. I remember just getting to my house. For some reason, I look at my email and I see this subject line. It says custom bag, Sammy Spieth. And I'm like, this is interesting. Like, is this spam or whatever? And then I looked at my Twitter and I had a DM from the same person. So I'm like, okay, well, they somehow found us or whatever. They sent us this email. And that's when the conversation actually started. Because I was down in the dumps that day. I remember, I feel like we barely sold anything throughout the day. And as an entrepreneur in this type of business, when you don't have, there's a lot of roller coasters. There's the days that you feel, oh my gosh, this thing's going to explode. And there's days where you feel like you barely sell anything. And you're like, oh gosh, I better dust off my resume. And it was one of those, I'm dusting off my resume. Like, I hope this thing can keep going type days. Yeah. So I remember that. And we started the conversation. I think that next week we had the initial conversations. Hey, can you do this? What are your capabilities? Is this something you're interested in? And we started those conversations, and it took us a little while to finalize the designs and what that design would look like, the colors of the bags and all that. And I remember getting the bags in my hands. I think it was toward the end of January. I had them in my hands, and I immediately thought this could be a home run. Like this could be really big for us. Just like seeing them. So I was extremely anxious leading up to the Masters Par 3 tournament. Days in advance, I didn't want anybody to talk to me about it because, people ask, they're like, are your bags going to be out there at the Par 3 contest? And I'm like, because over the last 2 years they have, or last 3 years now they have. So like you set this expectation. In 2024, they showed up. It was awesome. 2025, I was nervous. I'm like, are we going to get any out there? They showed up again. And then this year, it's one of those, okay, I think Spieth's going to carry, but I don't know. I have really no idea if they are. Yeah. And I don't think I have anybody else that necessarily has the bag, like a bag. So I'm fingers crossed that Spieth is going to have that bag out there. And sure enough, huge sigh of relief when I saw that bag out there on that Wednesday at the Par 3 contest. And then, social media really loved it. And there are some good stories behind it as well. And I think one of the biggest one was 2 months after I launched Charlie Golf, I sent a DM to Jordan Spieth on Instagram. And I said, basically, hey, Jordan, we just launched this Tyler Golf business. Thought of you and Sammy, for the Par 3 contest. Let me know if you're interested, something like that. And I don't know why I thought of that, but Instagram saves all the DMs. And I looked up Jordan Spieth, on Instagram, looked at the conversation, the message, and sure enough, it was there. So I took that screenshot, and it's just funny, years later, how that actually ended up happening. Through a roundabout way, it actually ended up happening, which I thought was really cool.
That's very cool. I mean, and that gave you activations for days, right? Like you've got the Spieth family. I mean, we all think he should have more than one green jacket. I think we're all astonished that he hasn't won 4 Masters at this point. But to have his kids representing your brand and using your bags at the Par 3 at the most iconic golf venue on the planet has to be a pinch me moment.
it was big time pinch me moment, and like he shared our story, like one of our posts that we had the bags, like the pictures of the bags, and like it was just it was just awesome to see. It was honestly just the biggest sigh of relief once it happened. I can't even explain
when
the
you
weight
saw
off
it.
my shoulders. And then it was a bunch of like we thoroughly enjoyed it then. And yeah, it's one of those moments that I'm going to look back on the brand of like Charlie Golf in years to come, and it's going to be one of those iconic moments that I'll always remember, and I think it's always going to be sort of associated with our brand as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. And now you've branched out into clubs. I saw recently you're doing bags for Wingfoot. Are you proactively reaching out to these clubs, or are they finding you and asking you for orders?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I have not done one active outreach to any of these clubs.
That's awesome.
They've all reached out to me directly, as far as through either the website or DM on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. They've all reached out to me. They said, hey, seen your story, followed your story, love what you're doing. And then they also see like you get one club that has done it, and then you get another club that does it, and then these other clubs start seeing, okay, what are the capabilities, possibilities of us bringing these in. So yeah, I have not done 1 ounce of outreach. It's all been organic, people, clubs coming to us, and it's pretty cool. I think we have now like 5 major championship venues in our lineup now. So I'm trying to keep like those major championship ones, like those venues sort of separated in a way, just because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. If especially like you don't want just random golf club calling you and then them ending up in a post, but after a post of Wingfoot like that, like, yeah, like, yeah, if you can keep it just major venues and some of the iconic courses around the country and globe, that kind of sets you sets you apart from anybody else. So that's really cool. Are
Yeah,
those
it's really cool, some of the courses that we get to talk to. And I always joke with my buddies. I'm like, wonder if I just ask for a tee time, we can do exchange, right? I'll give
yeah,
you the bags. Can I get 4 guys out there to go play?
right, right,
type thing, because there's some really cool golf courses that we've been lucky enough to work with.
And are those becoming recurring orders or just one-time orders?
They have been recurring
Nice.
for the most part. So like I know a couple off the top of my head that I just know immediately is MacArthur down in South Florida. They were actually I think they were the first golf course. So the head pro there has followed my story on Twitter for a long time, since the very beginning. He ordered one for his daughter, and he's like, okay, I'm going to figure out how I can get our logo on this. He actually ended up just reaching out and said, hey, are you able to put a logo on this? I'm like, yes. And I had no idea how to go about doing that at the time.
But yeah,
And it was like, you figure it out, right? Like
right.
I just figured out how to do it, and how to go through that process of doing it. So he was one of the first ones. And I think at this point, he's had 4 or 5 reorders. He's up to like 33 or 35 bags that he's ordered in probably less than 2 years. And then Eastward Ho is another big one. Jeffrey Patrick, I don't know if you know him or follow him on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, but he's one of the merchandisers at Eastward Ho. He was one of our very first customers that bought on the very first drop, the first 150 bags. Him and I had some conversation leading up to that point, and he supported me and bought one of the bags right away. And then sure enough, like years later, I think he's had like 4 reorders. He's up to like 25 bags that he's sold in his pro shop as well.
That's really cool. That's awesome to hear. I love the success that you're having, and how, like I said, just the necessity of your son needing it has now blossomed into you having this business. So what's, if you want to share, on the horizon for future drops, anything else that you're working on that may be a very limited run? Do you have anything like that coming up?
Yeah, so I sort of touched base on it real briefly, but U.S. Open, July 4th, America 250, working on some red, white, and blue styled bags. And that's what we're going to try to do that in the, middle to beginning of June. That's sort of the next one that we have on the agenda. And then we might do something in the fall as well, before like the holiday season. But yeah, the red, white, and blue theme bag is sort of our what's next on the list for a limited edition bag.
Nice. So I have never played golf in Iowa, and I'm going to pivot a little bit here. What part of Iowa are you in?
North Central. I don't know if you've ever heard of the University of Northern Iowa. That is the city that I live in Cedar Falls, Iowa. So
Okay.
it's where I went to school. We actually ended up coming back to Cedar Falls. But yeah, University of Northern Iowa. I played on the college golf team way back when, and ended up here again.
So what is the golf scene like around you now, and how often do you get to play?
So the golf scene, a lot of golf courses around. So if you're not familiar with Iowa, 9-hole golf courses are everywhere. Every small
Just
town
9?
has them. And I think it's like there's some research on this. If you Google it quick, most 9-hole golf courses per capita in the country. There are a ton of them.
In Iowa.
I grew up playing 9-hole golf course. I always took my son to a 9-hole golf course when we were living in a different town. So like 9-hole golf courses, I have a special spot in my heart for. I love just sort of the quirkiness of them. The conditions I could care less about. Like I grew up on a golf course that did not have watered fairways, did not have sand bunkers, had telephone lines running down 1 and 2, in course out of bounds. Driving range was an old range or an old field that was just cut down, like water tower in the background. I love that stuff. I think it's great for kids to learn the game as well. Like there's not as much pressure. You don't feel like there's that much pressure at a golf course like that. So special spot for 9-hole golf courses. They're everywhere in Iowa. And then we have a great 18-hole golf course here in Cedar Falls that we played, every once in a while, swim pool for the kids and stuff like that. So it's a great golf course. I personally think it's one of the best in the state. Could be biased, but I do think it's one of the better ones in the state.
Nice. So yeah, there's a couple. I get up to Sioux City when I go to Landman, and was trying to play a place there just so I could, because I want to play golf in all 50 states.
Mhm.
And I have not checked off Iowa yet. So that's one of the reasons I was curious about just golf in Iowa. But that's fascinating about the 9 holes, or about the 9-hole courses, and that Iowa has more than any other state in the country. Like
Yeah, you do a
that's a
Google
really
search
cool
on
stat.
it. Somebody fact check me on this. I've done it before. There is some research out there on this, and you go to any small town, can almost guarantee you that there's a golf course there.
A little 9-holer. That's
Yep.
really cool. So Charlie, Olivia, are they playing? And I guess, how old's Annie now? Is Annie old enough to play or no?
No, Annie just turned 1. Olivia's
Okay.
3.5, and then Charlie's 5.5. So I'm gonna have one of these moments here in the summer where it's gonna, I don't want to say hurt me, but like it's gonna be one of those moments where he transitions out of his little bag and into the bigger bag.
Right.
He's getting very, very close to it, and I know that day's coming. So, but he plays. He'll go out there. He loves going out there. Olivia will go out. She'll ride in the golf cart. She'll swing a couple of times, but she enjoys the golf cart. And then obviously Annie just started walking the other day, so
Okay.
we still got a little time for her.
So Charlie is still playing a Charlie bag, and then he's going to transition to one of the juniors. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
Yep.
Has he already picked out his new bag?
Yeah, the blue one, the navy blue sandbag is the one that he wants. He's sticking with blue, so
I
I
love
think
that.
he'll always have a blue golf bag.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know you have many more important things to do than talk with me on a podcast, but I got a couple quick questions, and we'll get you out of here. What's a dream foursome for you, dead or alive?
Let's see. I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes. I'll put Tiger Woods in there. I'm going to go old school because he was one of my favorite basketball players, Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice. That's
Just a
an
little bit
eclectic
something
group.
different.
That's going to be a fun group. That's going to be a really fun
Yeah.
group.
Yeah. We're big Patrick Mahomes fans in our household. So, and I know
So
he
big
loves
Chiefs
golf.
fans too, or just Mahomes fans?
We're Chiefs, anything Kansas City. So I lived in Kansas City from like 2010 to basically 2020. So anything Royals, Chiefs, big fans of.
So you were living in Kansas City when the Royals won the World Series.
Yes, back to back. Yes, I was there at I did not go to the World Series games. I was at the ALCS Game 5 in 2014, And then we also went to a playoff game in 2015 as well. So yeah, that was awesome. Great for the city. I'll never probably one of my favorite sports teams that I'll probably ever cheer for. Past or even at this point. That those Kansas City Royals teams from 2014, 2015, where it was special. It was awesome. It was fun to be a part of that. And then going back in 2020, 2012, the Chiefs were horrible. They were like 2-14 that year. They had the first draft pick, and then it was fun to sort of see that right after the Royals, the Patrick Mahomes era started, and got to experience that as well.
Yeah, those Royals teams, because I've been thinking about it in regards to my Braves. Those Royals teams, if the starting pitcher could go 6 innings, or maybe even just 5 innings, it was over. Like they had 2 setup guys and a closer that would come in and just mow you down. There was
awesome.
Nothing you could do. Yeah,
it was awesome. And they showed that in the playoffs during that time. And I think that's when there was like a moment there where like that bullpen, then people started trying to do that, years, right afterwards, because that obviously huge parts of their success.
Right. What's your favorite club in the bag right now?
So I just got a whole new set of clubs.
Okay.
Brand new set of clubs. So
What'd you get?
I got some Mira irons. So I don't know if you're familiar with Mira. We did a collab with Mira. So it's like one of those where when I'm looking at new clubs, they gave us a chance. They gave us an opportunity. I'm brand loyal to Mira. So I'm going to say my Mira 8-iron.
Okay. Are we flushing it with consistency, or is it like, is that just why you love it, or what's to love about that 8-iron?
Just feel comfortable over an 8-iron. So I typically hit a little draw, and I just feel comfortable with an 8-iron in my hand.
Okay. What's your favorite course outside of the state of Iowa?
I'm going to be heading back out there again this summer. It is at Prairie Club, the Dunes course at the Prairie Club.
Nice. Okay. Do you prefer to do sweep or golden hour?
Golden hour. Yeah, I like chasing the sun.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It's peaceful. I just feel like it's more peaceful.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that time of day for me also. Just like sun setting, probably don't have your shoes on. Like it's there's something about
you
that.
might have been through you might have went through a day of work, and it's just sort of relaxing and peaceful. Yeah, definitely like that.
And then last, do you hit it off the deck?
Say that again.
Do you hit it off the deck?
No. You're talking driver off the deck?
Yeah.
No. I would probably top it. I mean, I've tried. I'm not very good at it.
My wife's been telling me I need to compile answers to that question for a new intro, and your response just then would probably make the intro.
Yeah, that's
Tyler,
perfect.
thanks for taking time to come on the show and tell the story about Charlie Golf. It was truly an inspiration to hear just all the work and blood, sweat, and tears you put into it. And it seems like you're having a lot of fun with it, which that's infectious. So thanks for sharing that.
I'll tell you, one of my main motivations is to never go back to a 9-to-5 job ever again. I thoroughly enjoy like doing this, and like Sundays, I'm itching to get back to like get my hands on something. So it's thoroughly like I thoroughly enjoy it. We're gonna just try to keep it rolling for as long as we can.
I love it. Well, thank you again. For Tyler Johnson, I'm Josh Decker, and this has been another episode of Off the Deck.